Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the City of Menasha Administration Committee meeting to order. Clerk Snyder, could we have the roll, please?
Alderman Sevenik. Alderman Perkins.
Here.
Alderman Lewis. Alderman Marshall. Alderman Grotti. Alderman Rapella. Alderman Nichols.
Here.
Alderman Eisenach.
Here.
All are present.
Thank you. We have several items of business on our agenda this evening. The first is to approve the Administration Committee meeting minutes from August 19th, 2024. Is there a motion? Alderman Eisenach.
Thank you. I'd like to move to approve the Administration Committee meeting minutes from 8/19 of 2024.
And is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Eisenach and a second by Alderman Perkins to approve the minutes from August 19th. Any discussion on those minutes? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. The minutes are approved. We have three discussion and action items this evening. The first is a two-parter because the systems work together. And this relates to Common Council technology upgrades, the Shure discussion system microphones, and Civic Clerk agenda meeting management software, which is provided through the Civic Plus company. As all of us know, we've experienced technology issues that are increasing as time goes on, and so this is before us this evening to make some decisions about which direction to move in. The specific system, Televic, is the system we have now, and I'll let Director Sassman explain what the issues are with this current system and why we're looking to move away from it.
Certainly. So when we started experiencing issues this spring, kind of twofold, we're having issues with our microphones not holding a charge, but then this spring we also had a meeting where, and this is going to probably just keep happening, but the Televic system, due to its age, it's not able to always find the right frequency. And that was the issue with that meeting. So definitely this equipment has gotten to the end of its life. So a group of us internally started researching some options, and we worked with Aero Audiovisual Group as they are the vendor that supports the school district system. So basically kind of two options there. We could get it basically an upgraded version, if you will, of the current Televic system, but we would eventually face some of those same issues with frequencies. One of the other items that they brought forward was the Shure microphone system. So basically everything would kind of look as we have it, the equipment, but a superior system. So that would be the equipment piece of it. That system would not have the software piece of it for the meeting management. So then we had looked into Civic Clerk, which is also the package that we use now for meeting code, as well as our permitting and licensing software. So really it would be a two-part.
Yeah, can I stop you right there?
Yep.
Just focusing on the system.
The system, okay.
First, this Televic system that we have now is both the meeting microphones and batteries and the software.
Correct.
That we see on the screen, correct? And how old is it now? It's at least 5 years. I'm sorry, I'm putting you on the spot.
Most definitely.
It's at least 5 years,
yeah,
maybe 7 years old.
Yeah.
And we have these frequency issues. So one option that you explored was getting an upgrade, a new Televic system.
Yep.
But we would experience the same frequency issues going forward.
But the Shure microphone system, that system is capable of basically bouncing frequencies and finding that viable frequency at all times. So we wouldn't run into that sort of issue going forward.
Okay, but the Shure discussion system does not have the software portion of it.
Right, not a software package that would be a great option for the city. It would be very, very manual. It would definitely hold up the meetings. It wouldn't be a direction that we would recommend. So this is just the equipment piece of it.
Okay, and that's where the civic clerk system comes in, and I'm going to let Clerk Snyder just tell us why she recommended the civic clerk system.
Thank you, I'd be happy to. The Civic Clerk software allows meeting management, much like what we see on these screens through Televic. It allows the public and members of the council to see what items they're voting on, and then there's additionally a vote function that would be embedded in any kind of technology you prefer to use, such as your city laptop, a personal tablet, and that would allow you to both view packet materials alongside your voting selections while you're making your decisions and deliberating. We feel that that is a beneficial system for the city as it mirrors what we're already working with and allows staff to facilitate meetings more seamlessly, whereas using the Sure discussion system exclusively would create some lags. So we found this to be a beneficial transition due to its similarities to Televic. It additionally provides more longevity because it is a cloud-based system, which means that it operates fully through Wi-Fi and allows updates continuously so that we don't experience failures at some type of end stage of life the way that we are with Televic.
Thank you for that summary. And Director Sassman, both of these items were reviewed and recommended by the IT Steering Committee, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. Questions? Alderman Severnick.
So you're recommending approval that it be placed in the 2025 budget. That's kind of open-ended. Where in the 2025 budget?
The actual equipment would be placed in the CIP, and then the software package, that is an annual subscription fee, that is placed in the IT budget. And then that will be a global cost distributed to all departments.
You say CIP, but whose budget is it coming out of?
Within the CIP, the clerk's budget.
Okay.
But it'll be our borrowed funds. That would be the intent.
Was there any discussion of a possible equipment replacement fund being established so we don't have to get hit like this in the future?
We didn't know.
But we could, in the future, have that
We could.
conversation.
I guess
Would that
determining
be
what sort of
difficult?
equipment.
I mean, it's never
fall
been really
under.
done before, but I
Right.
mean, I think it's a good idea, especially in public works, how we do that. So, because this equipment should have been replaced a while ago, but
Yeah.
it is expensive,
Yes.
and we do have other priorities.
Right.
And so I guess we're getting to the point, I think it was actually worse last year than this year, where we were having some real difficulties, and it was very frustrating for some of the council members.
Right.
So I just wanted to put that out there so it's in the back of your mind of maybe looking at something like that. Okay, thank you.
Alderman Rapella.
Thank you very much, Becky. Question for you, Jennifer. Does the school district, are they involved in this at all, or do they need this improvement?
Nope, this would be specifically City of Menasha's equipment, but it has to be compatible with the school district's system as well.
Okay, so
And
here's
this product is.
So here's another question with that. Since we are currently renting this area from the school district, shouldn't they be paying for it?
This is not equipment that they need to run their meetings. It's equipment that Menasha, that we specifically need. So it would be our cost.
I can clarify
Okay,
that.
thank you.
The sound
Yeah.
system in this room belongs to and is managed by the school district.
Just the sound system.
Just the sound system, but our equipment that we choose to plug into that sound system has to be compatible with that sound system.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Alderman Perkins.
So it's my understanding that these microphones, the main reason that they've become a problem or obsolete is because the federal government sold the frequencies, and that's why it can't work. So the equipment that we are looking at, would it be cheaper to go with the same thing we already have, but the upgrade, do they have an upgrade? Because I'm sure that they knew that the frequency issue was coming and they had to upgrade the microphones. Everybody had to.
This spring, when we started our research, Aero Audiovisual came back with both options, the upgraded Telvic system and then the Shure microphone system. The Telvic system was about like only $2,000 cheaper than this system.
And the new system will always bounce
Yes.
to the best frequency, even in the middle of a meeting, whereas this one doesn't. It picks a frequency and it sticks with that frequency, and if that frequency becomes overloaded, we lose our connection.
To add to it then.
Oh, I'm sorry, let me turn on your microphone.
Sorry. Okay, so then if you're adding to the Shure, and believe me, I like Shure, microphones are good, that's a good solid equipment, but then you're also having to buy the software separately, correct? Or is it a fee basis?
No, that is separate, so there is an annual subscription cost for the software. The equipment would be the one-time cost noted in the, the motion, and then software would be an annual cost. One thing to keep in mind, an offset to that annual cost is that there will not be the recording of the meetings anymore, which we currently, it's about $8,000 annually. And I think starting with year 2, the subscription cost is about $10,000. So of that $10,000, $8,000 we would have already been paying for recording costs.
We'll still have meetings recorded.
Right.
It'll just
Not that
be
separate
done
fee.
differently.
Within the system, yes.
Any other questions about this? Seeing no other questions, I'll move to approve the purchase of the Shure discussion system at a cost not to exceed $39,290.77, and the statement of work from Civic Clerk, subject to annual budget review with an implementation cost of $19,550 and a closed captioning rate of 45 cents per minute. These approvals will be placed in the 2025 budget. I'm going to ask for a second, and then I'll go back and follow up on the closed captioning bit. Is there a second? A motion made by Alderman Nichols and a second by Alderman Lewis to recommend approval and forward these items to the council. Director Sassman, would you just talk about the closed captioning bit?
Yeah, we talked in the IT steering committee meeting if we were going to continue with that, and it certainly was the intent to continue with the closed captioning. We did look at a few options outside of Civic Plus, our Civic Clerk, and we decided that the Civic Plus option would be the best for the city as far as accuracy and cost. So that is right through their system. So we are recommending that we go with that route as far as the closed captioning.
And right now, closed captioning is currently provided through YouTube, where we post our videos.
Correct.
Okay. But with the new system, they wouldn't be posted to YouTube anymore. They'd be posted through the Civic Clerk
Exactly.
system.
Yeah.
Okay. Alderman Severnick.
So, okay, repeat what you just said. So it's not going to be placed on YouTube anymore?
The We have it on YouTube,
Yeah.
and it's accessible from the city's website
Yeah.
right now. With this new system, the meetings will automatically record, and they will be hosted through the Civic Clerk or Civic Plus website. That'll link to our website.
We won't be posting it to YouTube?
Not to YouTube, no.
Because I would believe that 75% of the people who watch this watch it on YouTube. They don't watch it in any other fashion.
Yeah, it would be posted on our city website.
Yeah. I don't know. Don't like it.
It'll still be housed on the city website.
It is now, too.
Yes.
Yeah, but we're losing it going on YouTube.
Alderman Perkins?
Would you say that most people go to our website and link to YouTube to watch? So basically, it's the same thing, it's just one site or another.
Yes.
I go straight to YouTube. I don't go to the city website.
Any other questions or discussion about this item? Seeing none, we'll take a roll call vote.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you for that. Item number 2 is the 2025 Municipal Property Insurance Company Renewal Policy Quote. And as you'll recall from our Common Council meeting earlier this evening, we accepted some items from the Heckrot Wetland Reserve. So in your packet today, you see, and in the recommended motion, you see 2 numbers, one with those items and one amount without those items. Director, City Attorney Strube, is there anything you'd like to add about this?
Thank you, Chair. Just noting that it is somewhat of a larger increase than the last year's, and that's due to the appraisal that we did have conducted this year.
Any questions or discussion about the insurance? Alderman Severnick?
So when you say the appraisals, are you saying on all those things that we have insured, you've increased the value on those items, and therefore the insurance went up?
Either those values were increased, or there were items that were observed that were not included in the insurance, and those items were added.
Okay.
Thank you. Is there a motion? Alderman Eisenach.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to recommend that Common Council accept the renewal quote of $69,479 with the Heckrot Wetland Reserve items from Municipal Property Insurance Company for private insurance coverage for 2025.
And is there a second? Alderman Eisenach made the motion to accept the renewal quote, including the Heckrot Wetland Reserve items, with a second from Alderman Perkins. Any other questions? Seeing none, we'll take a roll call vote.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you. Our final item this evening is the Muni Code process and a request for guidance on specific general issues. So you'll recall that in the 2024 budget, we approved a recodification to eliminate conflicts, inconsistencies, or obsolete provisions in our code. And so tonight, Attorney Struve is going to provide a status report on that process. We'll take questions and discussion on the process. And then in your packet was included 7 thing, 7 items that the city attorney is looking for guidance on, and we will take each one of those individually to make sure that we are providing, that we have consensus and provide that guidance on each of those items. So Attorney Struve, I'll turn it over to you for a status report.
Thank you, Chair. In terms of the status report, you'll see that we have received our legal analysis, so the legal review that was conducted by Attorney Roger Merriam. That is the 54-page document that's attached and in your packet this evening. I also provided the basic overview of the recodification process. That's the first document that follows this memo. That provides kind of the procedure, the timeline, if you will, of the Muni Code process. We are getting into the real meat and potatoes of the process, which is analyzing what Attorney Merriam has provided. And this evening, at least, the Section B, the specific general issues that Chair Nichols had referred to, that is what I am here to seek your guidance on this evening prior to our scheduled conference with Attorney Merriam later this month. Through that meeting later in October with Attorney Merriam, let me back up. Prior to that meeting, I will have met with each of the department heads and mayor in reviewing the legal analysis, each footnote, along with the new code that they've provided, about 800-900 pages of what these footnotes would look like in code form, our new code form, and how those would, carry out through the code form. And once we've had those meetings, then we'll come prepared to address each footnote with Attorney Merriam on whether we're in agreement with those recommendations or disagree with some of the analyses. The specific general issues that are referred to in the Section B of the 54-page document, those that I understand Chair Nichols would like to go numbered through numbered, but those are kind of responses on the bigger picture items that Attorney Merriam would need. They will come back before you for a final approval, so nothing will be set in stone. This is to provide guidance for staff in going into the meeting. Each process will build, if you will, so that we're not backtracking once we do get to the final approval stage, so that we're carrying out what you've intended us to do. So for example, some of these specific general issues won't be difficult to analyze, such as the font. However, others, such as the organization of the code, may provide you additional discussion. The number 8, degenderizing, there are 2 options there that we would need your recommendation on as well. And I guess the bottom line I would like to note, Chair did provide, the purpose of this process, and just highlighting that it is not the intent of this process to change any policy, that those decisions are made by you separately. This recodification process is not intended to do that, to change any intent of the code.
Thank you. Before I ask my questions, are there questions from committee members? My question relates to the last part of what you said, the intention of the code. Oftentimes, ordinances are drafted with specific intentions, and going through this process, one of my questions is what happens if the recommendation doesn't line up with the intent? And so, and you mentioned that's not the purpose, but it could happen because state laws have changed. there could be inconsistencies that are found. And so how would that information be dealt with or related to us if if an intention doesn't line up with a new recommendation?
And that will likely occur as we go through the analysis process and find some of the recommendations that staff might disagree with in interpreting the purpose of the City of Menasha Code versus state law. If there are inconsistencies, is it okay for the city to be more strict and whatnot? So it's on staff to find those areas and provide council with that education to highlight those areas, to make that as transparent as we can, and question and continue to highlight and show you prior to your final vote so that you are all aware of what you are voting on when it comes to that time. Does that help?
Yes, as long as we're made aware of those situations, and then we can decide how we want to address them in the future, through the code probably. And then the zoning code. Zoning is one area, is an area where we as a city have home rule and a lot of latitude in what we can do. So, and I also assume that there's conflicts in our zoning code and inconsistencies. And will those be brought to attention through this process?
Yes and no. Inconsistencies, yes, will be brought to attention. There is a lot of work to do. Separate from this process is what we've learned throughout the process, and what that we have a lot of work to do means is the Muni Code process is finding inconsistencies, not necessarily making the recommendations based on case law and that specialized knowledge. So one clarification that Attorney Merriam provided us with just this week, and just with regard to that zoning code, was that Civic Plus does not do case law research. They try to stay up on developing trends in constitutional issues, but do not claim to be experts in constitutional law. Second, they have no specialized expertise in planning and zoning law. There are attorneys who specialize in such fields. And then third, the city's sign ordinance may need to be redrafted at some point. It's beyond the scope of the services that this process provides.
I think that's okay. I don't think, I think that's good, but will they be able to at least point out the inconsistencies so we know where they are?
Within our code, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because it's up to us to address them and not their area.
And to change.
Yes. All right. Any other questions on that part of it? All right. Now on to the issues for collective guidance. Let's take 1 and 2 together. This is, we're not looking for official motions on this. The attorney just stated that what she's looking for is general direction. So if we agree that this is the right direction to go, then we just need to signal, yes, we agree with that. So if we look at numbers 1 and 2, capitalization and numbers in the text, a recommendation has been provided and a description of what it will look like. Are folks on this committee in agreement that we can file that recommendation with the clerk, with the clerk and the city attorney? All right. Seeing no objections, we'll recommend yes for each of those. Number 3 has to do with the organization of the code, and the wish is to leave this open for discussion. Any questions or objections to that recommendation? Seeing none, we'll move forward. I'm sorry, the section numbers were recommended to leave open for discussion as well. Any objection to that? Seeing none, we'll move on to the page format and the font. I don't know why we're being asked to, I think it's silly that we're asked to agree on this, but we're going to go through it. Page format and font, the recommendations are there. I just want to note that Times New Roman is an ADA compliant text, and so I fully support using that. Any objections to the page format or the font? Seeing none, we'll move ahead with those. Number 7 has to do with the general penalty. I'm going to let Attorney Struve address this one. I think I have a pretty clear understanding of it, but I'm just going to have her explain this one.
Thank you. So this essentially is a clearer understanding of what is and what isn't a violation of the code, is what the new code would provide. This does not change what council has voted on and what it is currently in effect in terms of the penalty amounts from $1 to $500. That still remains. In addition, our schedule of deposits is still cited too in the new code, and none of that changes either. The schedule of deposits is something that may be modified, but that's only with the municipal courts and the common council's approval. So this section would not modify any general penalties or any authority that council may have, or staff or chiefs of police and fire may have.
Any questions about that?
But is there possible?
Alderman Sevenick?
So is there a possibility of some of those changes coming forward from staff, that maybe a certain amount is not the appropriate amount, especially when we're having issues with our municipal court?
That could be a discussion if council would choose to look into increasing fees. That would not be a discussion for this process or
okay,
for.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, and you see the recommendation there. Any questions about that recommendation? Seeing none, we'll move forward with that one. Number 8 has to do with degenderizing the code, and the recommendation is to eliminate all pronouns from the code. Any questions about that? Seeing none, the last one is just a note saying that additional ordinances that have been and continue to be provided since the initial handing over of information. So I think we've covered everything. Do you have any more requests of us today, Attorney Struve?
Yes, thank you. And I know this is an unusual process. I appreciate your guidance as we proceed into the next step, and look forward to the next time that we get to meet to discuss this muni code process.
Riveting. I can't wait. With that, thank you all for your work and patience with that today. Much appreciated. With that, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Do we have to vote on it?
There is no vote on that action today. Thank you for asking. Alderman Marshall made a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Lewis. All those in favor signify by saying aye. We are adjourned.